What's up, everybody? This is Robert Ferguson. Yes, your nutritionist, a guy who shares because he cares. And today is no different. Today, I am going to share with you information that can prove, well, it can be a game changer. And one, some people are not going to like what I'm sharing today. And you're not going to like it because it's information that you are not privy to. No one shared this with you. It's going to probably go against some of the things that you believe you understand when it comes to nutrition. But at the end of the day, when I explain it and break it down and share with you the real science, at that moment in time, you will be thankful. You will say, man, I am so glad I caught this guy on YouTube. I'm so happy that I just happened to be on Facebook and Robert goes live. Or maybe you're catching me on LinkedIn or wherever you're catching me. Now, before I dive in and do all of that, let me get my everything set up here. I do want to encourage you to, I'm just going to encourage you to look at the description, click on our newsletter. Make sure you sign up for that. If you want to learn about a product called the Balance Oil that I'm going to talk about briefly, you can learn more about that, and it's something that you can do right now, and it can help you. It can help you. It is the number one supplement anywhere because it helps so many things, and most people have no idea that it exists. Like they don't know about it yet. But I'm leading the charge, and we're growing. We actually have a team. So if you're a network marketer, if you like the idea of a side gig and to be a part of something that 1,000% is helping people's lives, like no guessing, no like, I think it does this or it could do that, or like none of that. This is not a hype machine. This is real. So I'll show you a little bit about that. But the most important thing today, and in getting started, is for you to hit like, comment, just say hi. Anytime someone hits like on a page, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, it helps the algorithms put me in a position where more people will become aware of the information that I'm sharing. And today is information that, well, it was inspired by my barber. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to show you what that looks like, because my barber is a guy who he wants to be healthy, and he wants to give it his best shot to be healthy. And someone told him that he should juice, like juicing, celery juicing, apple juicing. He's telling me how he bought this really cool blender where he can juice, and he's excited about it. And I totally get it. Now, he's a type 2 diabetic. He has high blood pressure. And what I told him, and which I will explain to you, juicing. And if you know people who are pro juicers, tell them I would love to have a conversation with them where I will share with them the real science on why juicing is one of the worst things you can do if you're diabetic. Juicing is one of the worst things you could do if you want to bring your triglycerides down. Juicing is one of the worst things that you can do if you want to lower your blood pressure. Juicing is one of the worst things you can do if your goal is to lose weight. Now, I get it. You probably met someone who's juicing. They don't have any weight to lose. They may look amazing. Now, how many people have you met in your life who look amazing? They look slim, they look lean, but they have high blood pressure. They look slim, they look lean, everything seems to be going well with them, and they're telling you to juice, and you're like, man, they look great, so I'm definitely going to do this. But again, how many people do we know that died suddenly and they look like they were in shape? They work out all the time, they take care of themselves. It looks like they take care of themselves. At least I can see them working out. So why would they die suddenly? Like what's going on? You can't go by what you look like on the outside. Okay. Same as I would never judge someone who's apparently on the outside, they look to be obese. They look extremely heavy. I would not assume that that person is not in good physical shape. There's a lot of people who look the part. And when we've done testing on them, just looking like their omega-3, it is not. They're surprised. They're blown away. They're blown away. But today, I'm going to share with you why juicing, well, put it this way. If someone recommends juicing to you, that is a sign that you don't want to listen to that person. And I know this is a big statement. I'm not here to upset anybody, but I'm speaking truth. The good news is that if they are humble and willing to learn, you could share this video with them. I will get on the phone with them. I can send them studies to back up everything that I'm saying. And at that point, they have the right to change their mind because they become more knowledgeable of something. See, the allure of juicing, it just makes sense. Like if I'm taking something that grows like celery and I'm juicing it, there's got to be way more benefits to that. But it's not. It's not. And I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to prove that to you today. Now, before I do that, this balance oil that we are endorsing, that I endorse, that I am totally all about, that I've built a team, people who want to make extra money, sharing this product above anything out there. There is nothing out there that comes close to what this product does. Nothing. And I've done many evidence-based clinical trials. I have done everything you could think of in my space as a professional. And you could put anybody in front of me, and I'm telling you, tit for tat, we talk for 20 minutes, 10 minutes. They are going to agree with me that this is the number one product that everyone, if they're selling another product, if I meet someone who's a network marketer and they're selling some other product, and I show them this, if they don't also decide to sell this product, they are not looking out for the best interests of the people they come in contact with. They are not. That's how powerful it is. And those are big statements I'm making. I get it. And I can back it up. So if you're in the business of helping people, you're in the business of making a difference. I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care what level you are on whatever you're doing. What I care about is how you can help people. And when you become aware of something that can help people, even if you don't want to be part of the business, okay, God bless you. That's fine. Send them my way, because people who have dry eye, they're walking around with high blood pressure, they live with insulin resistance, they are concerned with their memory, they don't want dementia or Alzheimer's, they are inflamed, they live a life with a lot of inflammation in their body. Maybe they have skin issues. Everything that I'm mentioning is what this product I've seen with my own eyes is helping. So I'm gonna let you hear like a few people. I got some of my partners and coaches together. There's like 12 of us in total. And we just like really randomly, we didn't send anybody a script. I just said, hey, just give one basic example of the benefits of balance well. That's it. That's all I asked. I said, do that, and then we'll go from there. So what I'm going to do is, let me bring this up. What was the main thing for you? All right, let's pause that for a second, because I want you guys to see that. I want to see, you know what? I keep thinking that I have certain things in order. We're making a lot of changes with the website as we're gearing up to really push our podcast and grow this thing, if you know what I mean. But as you can see, these people that you see here on camera, these are all real, amazing, awesome individuals. And I asked them to just share one benefit of the balance well. So after this, I just want to play this for you. And there's a link where you can watch a full presentation and you can learn more. You can even purchase a product if you want. But just hear what they have to say. And then after this, I will then walk you step by step on why one of the worst things you can do when you want to improve your health is juicing. It's one of the worst things you can do. So I'm going to do my very best to explain it. And then if necessary, I can come back later and show you some graphs and some studies that back up everything that I'm going to share. but I believe I can walk you through it with words so that everyone will be like, oh, I get it now. Okay. But before that, let's hear what the group has to say as it pertains to balance oil. Like, Lisa, what was the main thing for you that you noticed?
Inflammation. But dry eye is the other thing that I was going to say, but when I saw it was already mentioned, inflammation is the big one that is for me.
So within a couple of months of using Balance Oil Plus, my skin condition that I have struggled with since my teens, called keratosis pilaris, is practically gone, and I am living the best skin health that I've lived my entire adult life.
I battled with really dry skin for years and years, and especially in my face, and nothing ever worked. And I got to the point where I wasn't even wearing sunscreen because that made it worse. And after even 1 week on the Balance Oil, my skin felt better and was more moist. And then after 1 month, it's completely gone.
My brother suffered from vertigo. After 4 months on Balance Oil, his doctor told him his vertigo was cured. They have cleared him. It's over. My brother said this is a miracle.
Since taking the Balance Oil, not only am I off my blood pressure medicines, which I took for 37 years, but my blood pressure is now lower than it ever was while I was on meds.
Since taking the Balance Oil, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair growth. And it's just a lot healthier. I had lost a lot due to iron deficiency, and so it's something I struggled with, but I'm happy to say my hairstylist said it is looking amazing. So I have to give credit to the Balance Oil.
After taking the Balance Oil for 2 weeks, I started noticing my dry eyes going away. So now I don't use my drops at all. And I had been receiving treatment for that for over 20 years. So now I don't even need the eye drops.
Biggest thing that I noticed is mental clarity. For me, that is the number one thing, because I tried to figure it out. Ferguson got me started on it, and I was like, what can I relate that I've actually accomplished, or what's different? And that is the number one thing, and it's in the fact that my brain is a lot more calmer, because I do have that inner critic, that's part of having bad habits in your life, if you know what I mean. If I'm not going into that many words, but that inner critic is basically quieted, so it's very enjoyable at the moment.
I noticed a improvement in my skin, and it has also helped with the mental status, like anxiety.
I'm happy to say that after taking the Balance Oils for about 4 months, I've had an enlarged fatty liver for several years, and that it has decreased in size in just 4 months, and I'm eagerly waiting to see what the next few months is going to do.
So since I've begun taking the Balance Oil, I've had improvements in several of the areas spoken, but also with inflammation. I have a lot of joint pain due to autoimmune disorders, and I've not been taking any of the medicines that were prescribed to me for that pain and discomfort. And the Balance Oil is what I attribute to that.
My testimonial is really my parents. My parents' 95-year-old mom, who suffers rheumatoid arthritis her whole life, no longer has the pains from the Balance Oil. So that has been the benefit for her. My dad, 101 years old, he takes Flomax for prostate. I've been giving him the oil, and he doesn't take the pill any longer.
Wow.
Their blood pressure for both of them. I've taken off blood pressure medicine just doing the oil.
Here's to health.
Benzino. Hey, Benzino.
All right. That was a real video, you guys. That was real people just sharing. No exaggerations. Just the truth. Okay. So let me read what my title is, if you didn't see it. It says, juicing can block weight loss and cause insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Okay, so what I mean by that, blocking weight loss, let's say the person's juicing quite a bit and they're thinking calories, or they're thinking I'm eating healthy, but they're juicing quite a bit. They will not lose weight as efficient as someone who doesn't juice. So that's what I mean by blocking weight loss. It can cause insulin resistance. Well, yes, it can cause insulin resistance because the fruit's not bad, especially when you eat it in its natural state. But when you juice it, you're condensing everything, and then you're getting a compound effect of two types of carbs for the most part. You have glucose that's inside of the fruit, and you have fructose. And the body has never been designed to process or metabolize a concentration of juice. It just was never designed that way. And so that can overwhelm our liver, contributing toward fatty liver. We know that juicing, if you have high triglycerides and the doctor finds out you're juicing, one of the first things they tell you is stop juicing, because it will increase your triglycerides. And when you have insulin resistance, that always comes before type 2 diabetes. So anyone that you know that has type 2 diabetes, before they were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, they had insulin resistance. They're one and the same. So they had elevated insulin. And what elevates insulin more than anything is when a food you're consuming is far from nature. I'll come back. Remember that part, because that's important. There are people, and this is what I wrote, there are people who are buying juicing machines, like my barber, with the goal of juicing because they think, all caps, or have been influenced to believe juicing is healthy. Unfortunately, juicing is not healthy. That's a big statement. And there's a whole bunch of people in the juicing world that would be upset with me. I remember sharing this with the late, great Dick Gregory when I had the privilege and opportunity to spend time with him. And the way I explained it, because, you know, he was big into juicing at one point and fasting and all that. He was like, wow. He was very impressed with what I shared with him. And we never got to the point where I could fully do something with him, but he acknowledged the science and the fact. So what happens, you guys, and what people, and the reason why they're not aware of it, and this is not a dig on anyone, same as when it came to my attention, I remember just being like, wow. I mean, I always felt that it's better to eat the fruit than to drink the fruit. But most dietitians and nutritionists will say that it doesn't matter. If it's all about how much carb you consume when you eat the apple or you juice the apple. But what we know to be true is that when you're juicing, when you're consuming juice of fruit that is not in its natural state, right? So if I have an apple right here and you can see the apple, that's in its natural state. If I juice the apple and then I have it and I can drink it, that's far from nature. That is not in its natural state. Inside of your gut, your intestinal tract, and I'm sharing with you now why we know it's not good for you to juice. And this all ties into causing insulin, a hormone, to be elevated. And the more you have insulin elevated, it blocks your ability to lose weight. That's scientifically proven. No one's arguing that. Everybody gets that. All the experts get that. So when insulin is elevated, we know that's not good. When insulin is elevated, we know that that's one of the reasons why people have migraines. When insulin is elevated, that's one of the reasons why people become insulin resistant and become type 2 diabetic. When insulin is elevated, we know that that plays a huge role in why people end up with blood pressure. And they're like, wait a minute, I'm not even heavy. Like, I don't understand. It's because the hormone insulin is being elevated consistently. And when it's elevated consistently, it is the primary driver for a lot of health concerns. Okay? Health concerns. Now, one, you don't know this, or you've probably heard me talk about it many times. If you've done any of my courses, you're aware of it. If you're my client, you are aware of it, unless you're a new client and we just haven't got to that point. But when insulin is elevated, it's called, and it's consistently elevated, it's called hyperinsulinemia. Hyperinsulinemia. Hyper meaning elevated. Insulin is a hormone that is secreted by your pancreas. Emia means in the blood. So hyperinsulinemia. So when insulin is elevated in the blood, That is not good. So we could all be on agreement that elevated insulin is not good. Then, as I share this part with you, you will understand why juicing is not wise. Okay. And if you guys have questions and you're catching me, this is a good time to ask questions. Even if it's not for you, but you want to ask a question that you think would help someone else get clarity on what we're talking about as it pertains to why juicing is not something I wouldn't recommend juicing for my worst enemy. Now, if you're going to juice temporarily or occasionally, okay, not a problem. Not a problem. But juicing is a big part of the problem. And here's why. If you take an apple, let's say this is an apple, and let's say it's the same amount of calories, same amount of carbs in the apple, and I eat the apple, there is going to be an insulin response. And let's say that this is 0 and this is 100. The higher the insulin response, the worse, right? So if I eat the apple, the insulin goes from 0 to maybe, let's say 10 or 20. That's not much. And then within an hour to 3 hours max, it's back down. That's not a problem. That is not a problem at all. But when the insulin levels go up higher and stay up longer, that's the problem. So if you take the same amount of carbs that's in the apple and we drink it now, we juice it, the insulin, instead of going up to 10 or 20, is going to go up to 80, 90. So inside of your intestinal tract, at the very top of the small intestine, you have a very dense population of these K cells. And these K cells secrete this hormone, peptide, they're incretins. And a popular name for these incretins that some people refer to as a peptide, you also hear some people say hormone. They're one and the same. They're neurotransmitters. When certain food, depending on its state that you consumed it, crosses that dense population of K cells in the small intestine, it tells the pancreas to release insulin. If I eat the apple and then it's breaking down as I'm chewing it, it's breaking down as it gets into my small intestine, the effect or insulin response is very little. But when you drink the apple, which is far from nature, it's really high. Now, most people are looking at the sugar response. And so that's when they would say, well, whether you eat it or drink it, it's the same. But whenever you talk to those people, say, well, what about the insulin response? Now, it would help if they understand that insulin, the hormone insulin, is a primary driver for a lot of conditions people have. Most people don't know that because average doctor don't even check your fasting insulin. It's not even part of the protocol. It's not standardized yet. Now, it's becoming more popular, but it's not standardized. So you could have someone who's juicing for 10, 15 years, 20 years. And then out of nowhere, they got migraines. Then out of nowhere, they are insulin resistant. Then out of nowhere, I'm a type 2 diabetic. That's how long it takes for when insulin is elevated before you're diagnosed with these things. So we're causing the problem, and we're causing the problem even though we think we're doing something right. And the only way you can really know is to take the time and talk to someone like me, and I can show you the data, and you can't argue the data. I mean, it's clear. But then if you can get all the other experts who endorse juicing, put us all on the stage, or we do a virtual conversation, they talk about the pros, the benefits of juicing, and if there's any cons. And then I would do the same thing, and I would show them the data. And once they see the data, once they see it with their own eyes, once they acknowledge that juicing based on what they learn about insulin response is not good, most of those people will continue juicing, and they will continue to educate and influence people to juice because they would rather be right than to be awakened to the truth. And it's the customer, the clients, the patients who are the ones who lose out on this because of their stubbornness, right? Their ego gets in the way from them adopting new information that they didn't know, and then pivoting and going back to their clients and letting them know that juicing is probably not best. If you want the celery, there's benefits in the celery, eat it. You want the apple, don't drink it, eat it. You want the pear, just because you're juicy. I mean, and I get the allure. One of my partners, he used that term allure. He said, because we were talking about this, and I go, man, what's so surprising is how many people are juicing and they have no idea that they're causing more damage than they are good. And he said it's the allure. Think about it. You go out of your way and you're putting in spinach and you're putting in all the fruits, and it looks like you just think healthy. And then you make it look nice and put the garnishes on it. Feel like you're doing everything right, but you're doing something significantly wrong. If you got questions, bring it to me, even if you're catching a replay. Because at the end of the day, and I talk about this every once in a while, it's better to eat the fruit or vegetable than to drink the fruit or vegetable. And for those who want to stay in the dark, because I get it, I bring this up. Some people don't want to hear it because they like their ritual. They feel like they get and understand certain things. Again, a lot of times you guys are not getting the information because of who you're listening to. And you assume that it's fact, and they never show you the evidence. And they definitely don't show you the clinical trials to support what I believe innately makes sense. So it's to our benefit to eat fruit and vegetables than to drink it. I'm going to stop there. I hope this made sense. Couple key points. When insulin is elevated, right? Let's say you do a celery juice and you drink it. I know the insulin's up. You're looking at the sugar. That means nothing or very little in this situation. So insulin's up. Well, whenever insulin is up and circulating in your body, you cannot release fat and burn it. Like, that's a whole seminar. Just that statement says everything. Whenever insulin is elevated, your body, it will not release fat to be oxidized, to be burned. So insulin must be down. It must be low in order for you to optimize your ability to burn fat. So you know how when you're talking to like an instructor or you go to a group class and they're talking about burning fat and how to maximize and all of those things, if they are not mentioning insulin and they're primarily talking about sugar, glucose, carbs, another sign that you want to probably either go ask them, okay, give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they are fully aware of insulin. And if you don't feel that they are fully aware of insulin, because I mean, how can you talk about sugar only and not mention insulin? How can you talk about losing weight or getting rid of excess body fat without talking about insulin? You can't. You can't. Insulin's an anabolic hormone. It does a lot of great things in our bodies. And when I say anabolic, that means that it contributes toward growth. right? Like if you didn't have any insulin in your body, you could eat a lot of food and not gain a pound. Now you'll die or end up going blind because of the sugar that's floating around in your body that insulin would help get out of your circulation and into cells. So you could have other problems, but you won't gain weight. I mean, you could eat 2 large pizzas and you're not going to gain a pound. But again, you may go blind, you may lose feeling in your fingers and toes, right? So you'll have some of those negatives. So insulin is a good thing. It's just that people have not yet, on a large scale, been taught how to eat. And this is what drives me crazy, right? Because you have a lot of people out there preaching nutrition. And if you're not acknowledging the role of insulin based on, or the response of insulin in your body based on how you eat, you don't know fat loss. You don't. You do not. Now, for those of you who are juicing and you want to keep juicing, I would say juice occasionally, but don't make it part of your lifestyle, especially if your goal is to optimize overall health and you're trying to lose some body fat. Okay. I did my job, everybody. I did my job today. And no responses. Like when I don't get responses when I'm live, well, one, I ask everybody to hit like or comment, hey, Robert, what's up? Like all of those things do help. But whenever I have like a moment like this, what I'm feeling is that I did a decent job at explaining it for those who stayed with me. And that makes me happy. So even if you're that person and it made sense, or maybe you're thinking, well, I don't juice, it doesn't pertain to me. Okay, if I kept you long enough where it makes sense, because then you could share it with someone else. Because there's a lot of people juicing and they really think they're doing the right thing. Like that's probably the worst thing for me. That was like the worst thing ever, is to have conviction that you're doing something right. And then find out that for months as you were doing that what you were doing ended up causing another problem in your life. That to me is like the worst. And that is what I see all the time. I'm telling you, there are people right now that kind of caught me live on Facebook. They started to listen, but then they didn't. Maybe they were rushing to do something. Some of them, like the title got their attention. They're like, huh, what is he talking about? No, I juice all the time. Juicing is great. And they start thinking about their references instead of taking a moment and saying, okay, let me understand. Let me take a moment and like listen to what Robert is saying. And for those who know me, of course, and I have thousands of people that have been following me for years, then you know that I am not just talking out the side of my mouth, that I'm speaking truth and I can back it up. That's why if you have someone who's a big time juicer and if they wanted to do a live together, it would be great. I would just love to have the conversation, and then I would just introduce them to some things that they're probably not aware of. And it's to their benefit to be aware of, because they're pushing people to do juicing. And they don't realize they're causing more harm on that person's health by getting them to juice. And that person may go and do that for the next 10 years, move to a different state, go for their annual checkup after they are down in weight, but they still do their regular juicing, and find out they're pre-diabetic or they're type 2 diabetic. That is a horrible moment. That would be horrible. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to end. And as I opened up earlier, I played a video, a little less than 3 minutes long. If you want to know more about Balance Oil, if you are someone who wants to you want to be as healthy as possible, this product has a nice balance of polyphenols, which are like antioxidants, very helpful for you. It helps with inflammation, all kind of stuff. And quality omega-3 oils that come from wild small fish. And then they have a patented method that's proprietary on how they formulate the polyphenols with the omega-3s that makes it where there's no other product anywhere that does what it does. And the best part about it is that there's a test, so you don't have to guess. It's not like, my product is better than yours. Oh, my product is better than yours. And it's just our opinions going back and forth, right? That whole anecdotal experience. There's a test you can take at home in the privacy of your home that will tell you if the product is working. I mean, when I share this with people and they don't see the benefit of it, I either think, okay, maybe that day I didn't explain it well, or maybe they're obviously ignorant, so they're unaware, but maybe they're not the smartest cookie. And I don't want to call people dumb. I just think that's mean. But sometimes I want to call people dumb. And if they're dumb, it's not their fault. So that's why I think that's why I would feel bad to just call someone dumb. And I'd like to just go back to they're just ignorant. So my goal then would be, how do I explain it and go slow enough that they will go, huh? And then they will see the value in at least getting the test and then using the oil. Because if you get the test and you use the oil for 4 months, the company will give you a free test just to prove that their product is working. Now, I've had 9 clients who were taking an omega oil or a fish oil consistently get this test that we make available to people, and all of their products failed. 100%. I mean, I knew they were going to fail because they don't have what the balanced oil has. They don't have polyphenols. They don't have a method of matching it and fusing it together, which is natural. Right now, if I went and grabbed a fish out of the water and I just bit into that fish to get those omega-3s that's going to help my brain and my body and my inflammation, you naturally, when you bite into that fish, get polyphenols also. But what happens with all these other companies is that they will purify the oil from the fish. They won't add polyphenols to it because they don't know. And they really don't care because people are buying this stuff anyway. And then after they extract it and purify it, then they'll add vitamin E to it because vitamin E will help it not go rancid as fast. But vitamin E, that's not a natural component like polyphenols. Polyphenols works like a chaperone. And it, as a chaperone, it goes in and it grabs that omega-3, grabs it as a chaperone, and it gets it to its destination, to the cell membrane, to the tissues in the body. And that's why right now, anecdotally, clients who have done nothing different, who have had eczema for years, their eczema is gone. My daughter's acne is gone. Her menstrual pain is gone. My clients with menopause, perimenopause, postmenopausal, night sweats, significantly reduced, some gone. Mental clarity, better. Energy throughout the day, better. Fat loss, better. Retention of muscle, better. Better skin, better nails, better hair. No more eye drops for their dry eye. Inflammation reduced significantly. What else is there to say? And for those of you who are taking it, now it's time to learn how you can get your product for free. Because this is not a product that you start and stop. This is a product that is a supplement. It's there to supplement what you're not getting. All right. Anyway, I didn't mean to talk that much about it. My main goal was to talk about the juicing. So if you came in late, just go back, watch it from the beginning, share with other people. Make sure you like, subscribe, go to our YouTube channel if you have not done that, and make sure you hit subscribe, hit the bell so that whenever we upload videos or we go live, you will be notified. All right, I'm going to play this video and then I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, peace out. Let's do this. Like Lisa, what was the main thing for you that you noticed?
Inflammation. But dry eyes, the other thing that I was going to say, but when I saw it was already mentioned, inflammation is the big one that is for me.
So within a couple of months of using Balance Oil Plus, my skin condition that I have struggled with since my teens, called keratosis pilaris, is practically gone, and I am living the best skin health that I've lived my entire adult life.
I battled with really dry skin for years and years, and especially on my face, and nothing ever worked. And I got to the point where I wasn't even wearing sunscreen because that made it worse. And after even 1 week on the Balance Oil, my skin felt better and was more moist. And then after 1 month, it's completely gone.
My brother suffered from vertigo. After 4 months on Balance Oil, his doctor told him his vertigo was cured. They have cleared him. It's over. My brother said this is a miracle.
Since taking the Balance Oil, not only am I off my blood pressure medicines, which I took for 37 years, but my blood pressure is now lower than it ever was while I was on meds.
Since taking the Balance Oil, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair growth. And it's just a lot healthier. I had lost a lot due to iron deficiency, and so it's something I struggled with. But I'm happy to say my hairstylist said it is looking amazing. So I have to give credit to the Balance Oil.
After taking the Balance Oil for 2 weeks, I started noticing my dry eyes going away. So now I don't use my drops at all. And I had been receiving treatment for that for over 20 years. So now I don't even need the eye drops.
Biggest thing that I noticed is mental clarity. For me, that is the number one thing, because I tried to figure it out. Ferguson got me started on it, and I was like, what can I relate that I've actually accomplished, or what's different? And that is the number one thing, and it's in the fact that my brain is a lot more calmer, because I do have that inner critic, that's part of having bad habits in your life, if you know what I mean. If I'm not going into that many words, but that inner critic is basically quieted, so it's very enjoyable at the moment.
I noticed a improvement in my skin, and it has also helped with the mental status, like anxiety.
I'm happy to say that after taking the Balance Oils for about 4 months, I've had an enlarged fatty liver for several years, and that it has decreased in size in just 4 months, and I'm eagerly waiting to see what the next few months is going to do.
So since I've begun taking the Balance Oil, I've had improvements in several of the areas spoken, but also with inflammation. I have a lot of joint pain due to autoimmune disorders, and I've not been taking any of the medicines that were prescribed to me for that pain and discomfort. And the Balance Oil is what I attribute to that.
My testimonial is really my parents. My parents' 95-year-old mom, who suffers rheumatoid arthritis her whole life, no longer has the pains from the Balance Oil. So that has been the benefit for her. My dad, 101 years old, he takes Flomax for prostate. I've been giving him the oil, and he doesn't take the pill any longer.
Wow.
Their blood pressure for both of them. I've taken off blood pressure medicine just doing the oil.
Here's to health.
Benzino. Hey, Benzino.